Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. Today guys, we're going to be diving down into the world of Multivac, specifically taking a look at the price action of the MTV token. Guys, as we get into this, if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button. Really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Right, with all that said, done, and out of the way, let's jump on down to the desktop and take a brief look at MTV. Okay guys, I know we haven't been talking about MTV too much lately. This is pretty much because we've been really focused in on what is actually happening on a bigger macro picture, right, in terms of Bitcoin's price action and so forth. Now, we are still bullish on MTV. There's a lot of things kind of going on. Good kind of traction it's had. And, you know, the recent pullback is, you know, it's an interesting one, okay? So I think we're going to get into this in a little bit of detail, find out, you know, where our thoughts are in terms of corrections, how low we're likely to go, and what is potentially next here for MTV, right? So obviously, we're on the weekly chart. We are using KuCoin as a data source. We do have a limited amount of data running from, I think, April 2019. And we can see that we really did have a good start to this. If we actually come down here, we can see basically March 2020. Pretty much with the crash of pretty much most cryptos at the time, right? We see a good surge to the upside, wave 1, good surge to the downside for wave 2, and then a nice strong push to the upside. Pretty much as soon as kind of January started, going into February really strongly, right? Good surge to the upside. This kind of then completed out in April when Bitcoin was at 65k. Bitcoin pulls back. If I can draw an arrow, pulls back down to 28k. And then you see Multivac here pull back to just less than a cent, I think, in that case. Let me just grab hold of that area. 0.002, sorry. All the way down here. Really, really low, right? And this is a key level for us. Obviously, a good accumulation period was had down here, and then we started to rise up quite nicely, setting a new all-time high at 2.8 cent, higher than the previous high that we have here on KuCoin. Okay, so really good. Then we started to see a good pullback. Okay, and I call it a good pullback in the sense of it's a severe pullback. Okay, so what we actually saw in this particular moment was if I grab hold of that price movement, we'll go ahead and grab that down, and we can see that we have lost 71% of the value, right? So pretty significant pullback. And for most people, you know, a bear market would be, you know, up to 86%, which again would put us at about 0.004 of a cent. Okay, again, actually higher than the lows of what we actually had set at the bottom of wave 4. Okay, that would be a bear market scenario if now is the all-time high, which I am not convinced on. I think there's more to come just yet. As you can see here, we have the Fibonacci retracement tool actually reaching out to a 1.618, 2.8 cent before pulling back down. Okay, and this has pretty much allowed our stochastic RSI to go right into the floor again, completely oversold at absolute zero. You can see this over here in the top left-hand corner. Which you can't because I'm in the way. Let me just move my little box out of the way there. Up here in the top left-hand corner, you'll be able to see that it's at absolute zero across all of the fast line and the slow line, right? So the stochastic RSI is heavily oversold. Very important thing to just note, because when we are oversold like this, the last time we were oversold was at the bottom of wave 4. Okay, and we saw what happened after that. So the fact that we are actually starting from a higher position and we are so heavily oversold, we stand a really good shot and a good motion to the upside here, talking about maybe going up into that 7.2 cent area of a 4.236 extension. Okay, that was in line with our kind of fifth wave after actually analyzing our 1 through 5. Now, this 1 through 5 is not a neat example of an impulsive move. For the most part, you know, it is impulsive. It has aligned to all the rules of Elliott Wave, but it's not a neat example. It's very, very fast. It rose up here very, very rapidly. And this is the thing with a micro cap coin like MTV, right? It's highly volatile. So it's actually holding up incredibly well, considering that it is considered higher risk than something like Bitcoin or Ethereum or some of the more, you know, established coins. Anything in the kind of top 10 is kind of, you know, less of a risk than a micro cap coin. With that being said, though, you know, the circulating supply being 7.2 billion, I think, market cap data being incorrect, does mean that there's a reasonable amount actually, you know, staked and out of circulation. Then there's still a reasonable amount actually out there. So I think it's important that we acknowledge that there's a good push to 7.2, potentially 9.2. That kind of 10 cent range is a pretty good area to be aiming for. It's about an 8x. For the most part, the market is actually looking at around a 10x, a little bit more in some cases, but that's pretty much the approximate area that we're currently looking at. To go up to that 30-cent target that we've been talking about for a while would be a 3,000% gain. And again, that's not too unheard of, you know, to this particular kind of micro cap coin. I think that is still something that could happen, but we would need to see some good exchange listings, as in ones that have much higher throughput, and of course, you know, some decent marketing behind it, right? We've got smart contracts. Let's see some stuff actually get built. Let's see some kind of, you know, incentives and all that kind of stuff, hackathons or whatever, to kind of go on there, make sure things kind of get on nicely. If we can do that in the first half of the year and we get some good marketing around it, we might be able to start to see some decent kind of adoption coupled with some exchanges, right? So the longer term view here is actually looking pretty good. My conservative target is 7.2 cent, and I think that's a nice comfortable area to be aiming for, specifically if you're getting in at less than 1 cent. That's not a bad return on investment. But again, we'll be monitoring the situation. Are we going to push up higher? Are we going to go for the 30-cent zone? Are we going to go for $1? I think $1 is going to be a real big push. I don't think that one is likely to occur, but it's there. It's another 10,000%. We've moved 18,000% already, which is quite significant. So we do have to be a little bit cautious with what our price expectations are at this point in time. Okay, so we've a good understanding of the macro view. It's looking pretty good on the weekly chart, right? But what about this, you know, this overview of 9.2 cent all-time high, or the previous all-time high bear market low shows us 9.2. The pullback between wave 3 wave 4 shows us 7.2, and obviously we can speculate in terms of 30 cent or $1. But for the most part, this is a very significant pullback, but is it anywhere near completion? And here we can see that actually, you know, we fell down. We have a completed ABC here, an ABC up, and then a big A wave down, a big kind of B wave up, and we are not yet actually completed our daily correction. So let's put that into perspective. Let's first of all draw these out so we know what we're talking about. Here's our A, B, and C wave. Okay, that's the first one. Then there's a small push here, an A, B, and C, a small push to the upside. We can see that right there. Then we come down in a very significant way. Here is your crash, right? A big A, a B, and we're yet to see that C. Now, you could argue that this is all a big ABC move, right? A big A down to here, big B wave up, and then a big C wave crash. Depending on how you want to look at it, lots of different ways you can analyze it, and you could argue that. For the most part, I'm going to leave it like this, with the exception, or I guess the expectation of a deeper pullback with MTV, because our daily chart is overbought on its stochastic RSI. Okay, so we can see that we're actually right in our buy zone. This is a fantastic buy zone that we actually had you know, scoped out before, but there's also the possibility of actually falling down into the best one we actually have yet. This is an area that you very rarely actually spend any time in. Are we actually going to go down that low? Let's actually take a look, right? So we've got our fibs. Let's go ahead and take our A wave high. I'm going to take it from the bottom here, the A wave low up to the A wave high. There seems to be a little bit of lag here on TradingView, so apologies for that. What we'll do is we'll just grab this and pull this down. We'll put that on top of our B wave here. Where does it actually show us moving down? It does actually show us C wave moving down very significantly. I'm not sure we are likely to move down that far. I think that is very unlikely. So what we'll do is we'll actually grab hold of our percentage points instead, and we'll run it slightly differently. Okay, we're talking about a 60% drop here. So if we were to drop that kind of value from our B wave high, that would actually put us about, if I go for that 64, I think right on top of this support line, actually, ironically, would potentially put us around here. Okay, so that would basically put us around about 0.5 cent. This is an area that we revisited previously during this fourth wave correction. Would be a massive blow to MTV for that to kind of play out. So, you know, we'll see whether or not we get that kind of full completion of a C wave coming in, but I think it's likely. I think that is incredibly low, but, you know, we have a target. We have an idea of where things might potentially go. So keep that in our minds. But whilst we do correct our daily stochastic RSI and continue this motion down. Now, obviously, this actually forms a much bigger play, right? And we actually take a look at that, if we were to pull back down into these really low areas of MTV, then that starts to look a lot like a head and shoulder pattern. Okay, so we'll monitor that situation as well on our daily chart. Now, as we come down into our hourly chart, this is where we start to see some of the more interesting kind of traction going on. We can see that we're heavily oversold on our hourly chart, right? So we should be looking to get some traction to the upside, right? But let's say what is going on. Here's an ABC down. Okay, we can see that right in here. Here's your A, B, and C to the downside. So we'll be looking for an ABC up now. Again, here's an ABC up and an ABC down. Again, that's actually falling up part of a bigger ABC here with an ABC down, ABC up, ABC down. So we are tracking now for a move to the upside of an ABC move. Now, considering how oversold we are, we will be looking for a reasonable A wave, B wave, and C. Whether it actually takes us above the area here, which would be about 1 cent, is going to be the thing to watch out for. We'll watch that space quite closely. But lots of progress to be made here in the shorter time frame, I think, to the upside, ahead of what is potentially forming here with our downward move towards the lower areas on MTV on that daily chart. Again, monitor that situation. There's no guarantee that we can pull down all the way here, but we will be looking to go down lower than this low that we've already set at about 0.0081. That's going to be the marker that we'll be monitoring. So I'll grab hold of this. Okay, so for this larger C wave on our daily chart, right, we are either going to come right down and bounce from this level of support, like a double bottom, or we're going to wick down below it, or we're going to come right the way down into that lower area. Okay, so there's going to be support on that journey to the downside. The first thing we're monitoring is we are going to be looking to at least come to the A wave. Okay, that would actually make it 0.0081. And then if we actually push past that support, then we do look to pull back down lower. Okay, and again, we'll be monitoring that situation. That daily stochastic RSI can get wiped out very, very quickly and recover very quickly as well. So we want to be monitoring that, but I'm not concerned. Like I said, it's always important to actually, if we're in doubt, zoom out, pay attention to that weekly. As I said, right, we are so heavily oversold on our weekly charts, guys. We are expecting a massive bounce to the upside. Okay, and if we can take a look at it from our weekly standpoint and our current position, even if we do come back down into that low area, we are looking to bounce up to about 2 cent, and that's going to be a high probable area of a 618 bounce. Okay, so we are looking to do that on our weekly chart, and it's whether or not we actually continue that growth to the upside and actually continue growing past that area, as to whether or not we actually get a decent recovery and this becomes a V bottom. Like I said, we're watching out for a double bottom at the bottom here. This will be a bullish area to get a good push to the upside. So there's no guarantee that that C wave on our daily goes all the way down, but we do need to correct that stochastic, so do keep an eye out for that on your charts. Guys, I'm going to leave the video there. If you have found this video useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then do go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With this said, done, and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.